The chair next recognizes Mr. Fine for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And look, I want to start by apologizing to those of you, particularly the two of you on my left, who've had to deal with this. I understand what it's like to deal with anti-Semitism. I dealt with it my whole life. Ironically, the institution I went to 35 years ago, where the problem is widespread today, it doesn't really exist today. But I'm also angry. I mean, what's clear is that Muslim terror has come to the United States, and it exists in our universities. And I noted in your testimony, just to give a couple of interesting points about it before I get to my question, Ms. Mann, you talked about the first example of pro-Muslim terror stuff in your institution on October the 13th. And Mr. Rubenstein, in your testimony, you talked about it on October 25th at Cornell. I read your statements before I got here. Israel did not send ground forces into Gaza until October the 27th. So to be clear, the Muslim terrorists were focused through your institutions on spewing their propaganda and hate before Israel had even responded. And that just shows you how the kind of evil that we are dealing with. The good news is, thanks to the chairman and others up here, we are willing to fight that fight. So I have a few questions for you, for the two of you. Ms. Mann, you testified about how the union contributed to the culture in your workplace. Could you tell us, the best is not the right word, the worst examples in the communication of anti-Semitic tropes or conspiracy theories in the multitude of things that you've gone through?
I would say that the posters that said "from the river to the sea" were definitely the worst of what I saw. Or
how do you interpret "from the river to the sea"? What does that mean to you?
To me, that means it's a call for the destruction of Israel, for the elimination of Israel, for the elimination of Jews. And I interpreted that as them calling for my removal from existence.
And by the way, you would not be wrong in having that view. That's exactly what it means, because if you look at places where those folks have taken over, the best example, for example, is Bethlehem. When it was under Israeli control, it was 85% Christian, and now it is 10% today. So that's a part of "from the river to the sea" that they have taken control of, and they have endeavored to effectively launch a genocide of those who are not like them. So you've accurately described what's going on. Mr. Rubenstein, in your written testimony, you included an attachment, a petition that Cornell graduate students signed to express opposition to Cornell entering into a union shop agreement with the graduate student union. Half the students who signed the petition signed it anonymously. They put their academic department, but they did not put their name. Why do you think so many students signed that petition anonymously?
Yes, so I actually signed that petition anonymously myself in early 2024. The reason being, after students began signing that petition, the union dispatched its agents to meet with friends, with colleagues of signatories, in order to turn those closest to them against them. The union is engaging in this targeted personal harassment of anyone who publicly stands against them. And many people simply did not feel comfortable exposing themselves to that.
So that an institution that wants to parade around talking about academic freedom and let's all, peace, love, and talk, you're saying that graduate students, not like 18-year-old freshmen, but graduate students did not feel like they could put their own name on a petition without facing harassment from those behind Muslim terror.
Cornell cannot claim to support academic freedom when it lets its students be harassed for expressing their views, and when it additionally forces students to support an ideological organization.
So we know why the unions do this. We've talked a lot about it today. Why do you think in your case, Mr. Rubenstein, why do you think Cornell puts up with it? I mean, why do they allow it?
Cornell knows that this is wrong. President Michael Kotlikoff actually put out a very strong statement against mandatory dues, which he described as a violation of academic freedom. But ultimately, Cornell is responsive to public pressure. After the union threatened to strike, President Kotlikoff reneged on his promises to protect us. And I think that public pressure is the only thing that will force Cornell to change course now.
Well, public pressure or the law, I think this committee under Chair Wahlberg has made clear that we're coming for the universities that will not protect their Jewish students, and maybe Cornell will find themselves in your seat here in the not too distant future. I don't know. But I'm angry for you. I have 2 Jewish children too. And I know what it's like to go through what you all have gone through, myself, having dealt with it my whole life. I'm sorry we have failed you to solve the problem, but rest assured there are me and my colleagues who are determined to get to the bottom of it and put an end to this scourge. So thank you for being here, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.